So I wanted to talk about the cost of racing and riding a decent bike for a year. So this is my privateer 141, and yeah, it's cost me quite a lot of money to run this in a race series all year. Now the bike cost £3,000 to buy straight from the privateer website. It took 6 months to arrive, and by the time it arrived the price had gone up to £3,689, which is what it is now. I still paid the original £3,000. The original spec was quite good, but I didn't like some of the things on the bike, and it needed certain things upgrading straight away. So rim packed tyre inserts so we don't get punctures, destroy the wheels, straight away cost £75. Black Spire bash guard, didn't break the chainring, £40. A mud guard, £30. Didn't get on with the Fox suspension that I was running for a while, so that was a bit of a problem. So I went to the RockShox Zeb fork on the front and the Super Deluxe coil on the rear. In total they came to £780. Now the old shock and fork I do still have, so that's something I can put back on this when I sell it and keep those. The original Hunt wheels, I basically destroyed the rear wheel in the first week of having the bike at the Tweed Love race in Scotland last year. I don't know anyone who hasn't had problems with Hunt wheels unless they're a sponsored rider, when everyone raves about them then. But the back wheel's been nothing but trouble, to a point where the spokes are pulling out the rim, come loose all the time. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. So I bought another set of wheels. So the wheels that are on the bike now, it's covered in mud from the last race. WTB I30, 30mm width, solid wheels, but they're very heavy, and they were cheap. I only bought them because they were, by cheap I mean £250 for the pair. And then what I did with those is put new tyres on those as well, and another set of rim packs and another set of the Magura brake discs, so and a Shimano cassette. So all that added up quite a lot. Other costs I've had during the year: brake pads. Gone through 4 sets of brake pads. Used the Uber bike Race Matrix pads. They're pretty good. Now it's worn out 3 chains in a year, so I've had to replace the chain ring. So that is a Unite chain ring on the front. The chain, use chain checker to check what that's like. In one of the races, my older chain didn't match with one of the cassettes, so it was skipping over the cassette. So I broke a chain there in a race. I had to put a new one on, and then the new one was just as bad, skipping over the cassette. So that's another problem. SLX rear mech, this wore out. The cage had so much play in it, it wouldn't change gear properly. So that I'm on my second rear mech this year. Bearings in the frame, I've gone through 6 bearings. So on the shock, these 2 here, it's a trunnion mount shock. Either side of the shock, I've worn out both sides twice, so that's 4 bearings there. And these top bearings here, those have also worn out as well. By worn out I mean absolutely destroyed. Like, they were gritty, grimy, even when packing them with grease. So yeah, that's another cost. I've done all this type of work myself, apart from once where Sire Evolution Bikes, who's helped me out this year with some cheaper parts and some free labour, has stripped my bike down and rebuilt it for me. And he's also done 2 fork services on the Zebs, with a bit of tweaking just to get the feel of those right. So in total, the bike has cost, all the parts have cost me £4,850 this year. There are other costs to running the bike the way that I have done this year. So I've done 9 races and they've cost me £600 to enter the races. Additional costs such as a new helmet, body armour, race kit, extra little tools and things like Fidlock bottles, a couple of those, £730 on all that stuff. So worked out what savings I've made from using Sire Evolution bikes and him helping me out, and with the labour that I've saved that he hasn't charged me for and the discounted parts, that comes to £650 that I've saved. So really grateful to him for that. And yeah, it's been a big help knowing that even a couple of days before a race, if I need something, I can call him and it's there. So yeah, that's been really good. The other thing to mention is things are still worn out on the bike now. So a year's worth of ownership, all 4 tyres on both sets of wheels are basically, you know, they're all ruined. I've ridden the bike on average twice a week over a year. So some quick maths, if I get £2,000 for the bike when I sell the bike now, that would reduce my total costs, which are £6,800. That would have cost me £4,800 to run the bike for a year. So on average I run it twice a week, which means it's basically £50 a ride. So quite a bit. So if you think every ride is costing you £50, but that's including races and that type of thing, there are other parts that I could sell as well. So that cost isn't really as good as it should, as cheap as it could be, basically. But yeah, that's it really. It's an expensive game, but you know, doing races, riding your bike hard, you know, you damage a lot of things. These back wheels, these WTB wheels, they're basically, that rear one's ruined as well. It's got multiple flat spots in it and it needs truing every week now, basically. So doing races, you ride a bike harder than you probably would in practicing. You're hitting lines faster that you don't really want to hit if you're just out for a ride with your mates, that type of thing. So yeah, that's it. Basically, other costs that some people have, well, brakes can be a problem. These Maguras have been absolutely brilliant, best brakes I've ever had. Didn't think I'd say that at the beginning of the year. I thought they'd be coming straight off the bike. Yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, thanks for watching.